Good to have everybody here. First time, we welcome you. If it's your 84th time, we welcome you. And so get your Bible and turn to the book of 1 John.
Amen.
Now we're going to, our year is a year to thrive. I want to talk about how to position yourself to thrive, how to work this thing, what to focus on. If I could say it that way, just because we've said this, 25 is a year to thrive, the devil didn't lay down and say, well, guess I ain't going to do anything today. We've got to obtain. And I want to deal with some things. And so we're going to start here in 1 John chapter 2, verse 15. And it says, love not the world. Why? Neither the things that are in the world. Why? Okay, so let me kind of illustrate. I love the ocean. I can just sit there for hours. Not like down on the ocean, like up on the cement with a cup of coffee, by the coffee shop. I don't lay on beaches and stuff like that. But I like the rolling waves. It's just relaxing to me. Actually, a river will do it for me also. I like moving water. I like hearing the sound of water. And this verse says, love not the world nor the things of the world. And really what God's saying here is not, you can't love the ocean. Some people are ocean people, some people are mountain people. He's not saying you can't have preferences and like things like that. He's really talking about the system of. In how, in the operation. We're going to see it in just a minute. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Now, that's a pretty strong statement in my book. He's saying, if you love this place, you've got none of my love. So why would he say that? It's in the context that we live in a fallen system. He wants us to love him. He wants us to love his ways. No man can serve two masters. The system that we live in is not his system. Now, if we can go back through different patriarchs and stuff like that. Abraham, he was a very rich man. So, some people might say, well, does that mean you take a vow of poverty or something? No, that's not what he's saying. I mean, we've all had money in our pocket before, right? And we've all had it empty, right? It's more fun when there's money in your pocket. Life's easier. You can negotiate things. So he's not talking about that. So look at verse 16. For all that is in the world, now he's getting ready to talk about how this world operates. Okay? The first thing is the lust of the flesh. The things I want. The things I want to experience. Everything in this natural system operates based upon a want. Lust is want, desire. It's all based on a want system. This is why I talk so much about wants. Don't be driven by wants. Now, I've never met a person that doesn't have a want. And I don't know, I don't care how rich they are, I don't think there's ever been a person that hasn't wanted something. It's not talking about that, because I don't think you can ever get rid of wants. It's being driven by wants. If we've probably all done something stupid in the want factor, and even did something stupid to get to the place where we could fulfill the want, because the want drove us. I'm going to do this. And he says this is a systematic method of a fallen world, is being driven by what you want. The next one he says is the lust of the eyes, the seeing element of it. Remember in Matthew, I think it's chapter 6, he says, if thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of life. He wants our eye on him. But the system of the world is to see and want, lust. So the lust of the eyes, the want of the eyes. Could be, I want them. It could be, I want that. I remember a story that Peter told one time that when he was in his conversion process, that he was standing in, I think like a grocery store or something like that, and a lady had a purse in front of you. There was a wad of bills in it. He wanted it because he's broke. But he started going to church and was getting his life right. I got the story pretty much correct. And it's like, but I can't. It wasn't a big struggle? Oh, it was a big struggle. Yeah, because of the lust of the eyes, which probably tied into the lust of the flesh, the want. Everything's driven on want. Anybody that has been successful in this natural life has a very strong want. They're pursuing something. And then he says the third one, and the pride of life, who we are in this. You even see this in the church realm. People like to make themselves out to be very spiritual. It's a pride of life. Look at me. Look at my credentials. Look what I have done. Even when, the thing I always think is funny is like you get two parents talking, and little Johnny did something spectacular at school, and the parent's proud, and so they tell, and then the other parents, well, my kid did this. It's pride. Why can't we just rejoice with the person that had whatever it was that they did really good with? Why do we have to bring it up? You see this in something that will happen, in the world, or it doesn't just any element of the world. And then I've been praying that way. Why do you have to tell people? Why don't you rejoice that whatever it was, just the pride of life? It's as much in the church, just as the want factor is in the church, as it is out of the church. So God says here through the Apostle John that if your attachment is to this natural, then your attachment is not to me. And then 17 says, the world passeth away, and all the lust thereof, those three that we just talked about, he that doeth the will of God abideth forever. So we have the complexity of thriving. Because I don't know about you, but I want to thrive. But I want to do it God's way. I want the results of God manifesting through me. And I have to work on myself to stay in that position, because sometimes you just want stuff. In fact, Mom's testimony, I just about paid it because I didn't want to mess with this anymore. That even in dealing with that on giving up, that was a want drive. But no, I prayed about this and I'm going to believe God for it. So you can see wants in any area. And like I said, I don't think you can ever get rid of a want, because I really want a taco right now. So that, things pop up, and but it's being driven. See, I'm not going to walk off and say, y'all have a good evening. I'm going to get me a taco. I'm not driven by it. And that's really where the key element comes in. So go to John chapter 15. Amen. I'm laying a foundation here. Okay, John chapter 15, verse 19. If you were of the world, now for Jesus to say, if you were of the world, from Jesus' perspective, you're not of the world. So now you can kind of get a glimpse into why he doesn't want you to love the world, because you're not of. Why would you love something you're not a part of? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Then the world would love his own. You wouldn't have the opposition from the world or people trying to oppose, the church world. But because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. So we see here again that we were chosen out of the world, that we're not of the world. So there's a distinction in the eyes of God that we are separate from this system. So now, but we go back in, like Ralph was talking about, the identity. What is our identity? Because most, I would say, I have no idea what the statistics are, but I would guess that a really, 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 really high percentage of people, Christians, born again, spirit-filled, and whatever, this world is more real to them than the spirit world. Now, we all know we're going to heaven, but I would think we think of that as a place, which it is a place. But we know there's a God, and he's a spirit. And like Sergey was talking about, we all have stories and answers to prayer that God somehow miraculously did something. Okay, the Spirit got involved. But do we really identify on that realm? Do we understand what is going on around us? Because like I said, the devil's not laid down right now. Oh, they're going to thrive, so I just better lay down my, my resume, my purpose of kill, steal, and destroy. I better just lay it down and not do it because they've purposed to thrive. No, he's going to try to, if his purpose is to kill, steal, and destroy, he doesn't want us to thrive. He doesn't want us individually to thrive. He doesn't want us corporately to thrive. So, okay, so let's go back to the Old Testament, and we're going to look at some things here. Because what I want to try to do is this realm of the Spirit, I want to try to make it real that we can see, because we have opposition. Do you know you have opposition? Okay, but do you understand how it works? Because if we don't understand how it works, then how are we going to overcome it? So in Daniel chapter 9, verse 1. Oops, I don't think I'm in Daniel. Oh, man. I got all my notes on the wrong page. Okay. Because did I write Daniel chapter 9?
Yes.
I think I want Daniel. No, I want chapter 10. I wrote it wrong here, and I wrote it wrong up there. So let's go to Daniel chapter 10.
Amen.
And okay, let me. Okay, Daniel chapter 10. In the 3rd year of Cyrus the king of Persia. Now, is this Cyrus a man? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. In the 3rd year of Cyrus the king of Persia, a thing was revealed to Daniel, whose name was called Belteshazzar, and the thing was true. But the time appointed was long, and he understood the thing and had understanding of the vision. Okay, so now, where did the vision come from?
The thing.
Vision was of the thing, but where did it come from? Huh? God. Okay. The spirit realm. God showed him something that was true, and this thing was going to happen down here, but Daniel understood it. Verse 2. In those days, I, Daniel, was mourning 3 full weeks, or fasting 3 weeks. So because of this which he saw, he set himself to fast. Okay? Jump down to verse, if we want to read the fast. I ate no pleasant bread, neither came flesh nor wine in my mouth, neither did I anoint myself at all, till 3 whole weeks were fulfilled. Now, in the 24th day of the 1st month, as I was by the side of the great river, which is Hiddekel, then I lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man, clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz, however you pronounce it. His body was also like beryl, and his face was as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes was lamps of fire. Now, is this a natural man? No. Now we see an angel. In fact, jump down to verse 10. And behold, he touched him, which set me upon my knees and upon the palms of my hands. So he was apparently laying prostrate on his face praying, and this angel came down, touched him, which pulled him up to his knees and to his hands. Okay, so now we got 2 realms here. We've got the natural realm with King Cyrus, and we've got a spiritual realm where he was given a vision. He set himself apart to pray about the vision, and this angel comes and touches him. Okay, so we have the seen kingdom, Persia, and we have the unseen kingdom. That which, the angel that came down. Now he could see him, but he came into the seen arena, if you will. Now jump down to verse 13. Okay, then verse 12. Well, let me go to verse 12. Then he said unto me, Fear not, Daniel, for from the first day that thou settest thine heart to understand and to chasten, thyself before thy God. Thy words were heard, and I came for thy words. So as soon as he started reaching into the unseen kingdom, it was heard, and things started happening. Verse 13, but the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. But lo, Michael, one of the chief priests, came to help me, and I remained there with the kings of Persia. Now I am come to make thee understand that what shall befall the people, and going over the vision and everything like that. So now what we have 3 arenas here. We got a man, Daniel. We've got a kingdom, or a king, Cyrus, who's making decrees and doing different things. The people of the kingdom are probably just kind of going about doing their business, knowing the government's making decisions and everything like that. But then a vision comes to a man that walks with God. He sets himself apart to pray about the vision. An angel comes in, touches him, and it further expounds the vision to him, and said that as soon as you set yourself and was asking, God for the answer, I started coming with the answer, but there was a demon that was fighting me, that I was at war, that Michael had to come and help me. Now, how many people do you think in this arena, this geographic location, knew all this stuff was going on? Probably nobody until Daniel knew, because the angel just explained it to him. Okay, so now if we stop and we think about this, that we've got 3 levels here. We've got the kingdom, which is seen, and then we've got 2 kingdoms which are unseen. New Testament verbiage, the kingdom of light and the kingdom of darkness. So let's bring it down to us, that in yours and my life, we're going through day-to-day business. Whatever it may be, going to work, dealing with somebody, going, praying, doing whatever. And in the unseen realm, there's stuff going on. Okay, but how much of the stuff going on in the unseen realm do we see? It's unseen. Okay, go to Luke chapter 4. Okay, you follow me in my foundation. I haven't made my point yet, so I know you might not know what I'm talking about, but do you understand what I'm talking about so far? No? No? Who said no? Okay, what do you not understand?
He's seeing some stuff that's not seen.
Yes. So God's opened his eyes so that he could see it. Well, this angel came into the seen realm from the unseen realm. So he's talking to the angel. He's telling things of the vision. Okay, but Daniel never saw this guy, or this angel, and the prince of Persia fighting in the unseen realm, and Michael coming to do the breakthrough. He's just telling him about it. And my point being is, these things are happening, and we don't know they're happening.
Right,
as we're saying, things that you're believing for, asking whatever you're praying about, whatnot, there's things going on regarding that you don't see. Okay? So Luke chapter 4, verse 5. And the devil, this is when Jesus was taken, was tempted 40 days of the devil, didn't eat anything, so we're getting down to the second temptation. And the devil, taking Jesus up into a high mountain, showed unto him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time. So now, all the kingdoms of the world is all the natural nations, that were present at the time. And he showed them all of them to him in a moment of time. The devil said unto him, all this power will I give thee, and the glory of them that is delivered unto me, and whomsoever I will give it, if thou therefore worship me, all shall be yours. And Jesus answered and said unto him, get behind me, Satan. Okay, so now, a lot of people will say things like, well, Jesus knew better. But the verses here tell us Jesus was tempted. So that means that when he saw all the kingdoms of the world, it was a temptation. Because if it wasn't a temptation, what's the whole point? Yeah. Okay, so what would be tempting to him?
What he saw.
Why? Does he want to be rich? I don't think so. Does he want to, I don't know, whatever, think in the natural realm, because it was all the natural kingdoms. What was tempting to him? Okay, the power, but he's the Son of God. He has more power than the power of the natural world, so why would that be a temptation to him? Well, he has to be tempted because it said it was a tempt. But it wouldn't be the wealth, it wouldn't be the power, because that which he has of God is greater than that. Any other ideas?
You mean why he was tempted?
Yeah, because it was a temptation.
As a testimony for us.
Okay.
Because the Bible
We
says,
use it as a testimony for us, but he's tempted. It's like,
well, the Bible says that we don't have a high priest who is unable. What's the term?
Yeah, he's been touched in all points as we are, so he knows what we've gone through. Because it was a temptation, my question is, why was it a temptation? Go ahead, Latrice.
Because going back to James, we're not supposed to love the world, so it had to be those three. He had to be tempted.
Do you think Jesus loved the world, the system, after coming out of heaven?
The whole point of Jesus coming was to show us how to get out of the mess we were in.
Okay, that was his purpose.
Right.
But why was this a temptation?
Because this is the way we're tempted.
But, okay.
This is where man's.
Okay, but he was tempted. Yes, it's a way that we're tempted, but he was tempted. What did you say, Karina? Okay. Okay, I'll come back to you. Go ahead. Okay, did you guys hear that? No. To have his own kingdom to rule over. And what was the last part you said on that? And not have to answer to anyone. Okay, that's going to tie into it. Go into Arlie.
I think it has to do with what he gave up to come to earth.
Okay, but to accept this would be far less than what he gave up.
He set aside his position in heaven to come down. And so if he was tempted, it would be a way of gaining that back.
Okay? Which kind of ties into what he said. Okay, here's my spiel on it. Okay, what was he going to do? He was going to go through the cross in order to get all the authority back over all this. Here was a way I could get it without going to the cross. Because what was the hardest thing for him to do? In the garden, when he's praying, he's sweating his great drops. Father, if there's any other way, can this cup pass from me? Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done. And all of a sudden, wait a minute, I get control over everything. Isn't that what I'm here for? I can do this without that. Right. So the pain, the excruciating pain he went through at the whipping post and the cross, if we can accomplish this, we see that same attitude in the garden. If there's any other way to do this, like maybe the devil's willing to give it up so that I can have it. All I got to do is worship him. Well, he's not going to worship anybody but the Father. But it had to be a temptation for him. There had to be something that tempts him. Okay, so when I was in Texas, I'm not eating sweets this month, and I've done very well. Today's the 29th. I've gone 29 days without eating any desserts. And on Wednesday of last week, we were having lunch at the ministry center where we're at, and they had lemon cake. And I didn't get any lemon cake at the Ministry of Helps. That's what I was hoping to hear. And Monday or Saturday, anytime after Saturday. And Pastor took a bite. I said, "Is that lemon?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Is it tart?" He says, "Well, it's not really tart, but it has a really full lemon taste." Yeah, and then I thought about Daniel, who didn't eat any sweet bread for 3 weeks. And I'm thinking, okay, ding dong, why'd you go the whole month? And I'm thinking, I could alter this and really make it a Daniel fast, because it was only 3 weeks, and actually on Wednesday, it was like, 3 weeks is 21 days, and Wednesday was the 22nd, the day after 21 days. Why is this going through my mind? It was tempting. See, tempting is you want it. Otherwise, it would. Beans are not tempting to me. They have zero temptation in it. You know, somebody, oh, can you smell those beans? Puke. They don't even smell good. Okay, a tempt is something you want. I wanted the lemon cakes. You hear that, B? I wanted the lemon cake. Okay. So it was a temptation. So to thrive, in order for thrive to manifest in the first layer, it has to come from the unseen layer. Even in this story, Jesus, who became flesh, dealing in the natural, the temptation, Satan came, that was the second, the unseen kingdom. He took him up, and in a moment of time, this is all spiritual stuff happening. Okay, so what's my point? There's a layer beyond this layer. Okay, it's not as far as we think, but we can't see it. There's something that blocks, because angels move about in our natural realm. Okay, there's something that blocks our ability to see, but there's a layer behind, and as we saw with Daniel, there was a war going on to try and prevent what the human was doing, reaching into the unseen realm. There was something that was going on. What am I talking about? How to position yourself for thriving. Because there's an opposition to you that you don't see. Okay, make more sense? Go to 2 Corinthians chapter 4. Okay, 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4. In whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not. So the unbeliever does not believe in the things of God. They don't believe there's a war going on. They don't believe there's an attack to kill, steal, and destroy. In fact, a lot of Christians, they'll blame things on the devil for things that they're doing. Because it's easier to blame him because we can't see him. He doesn't come and talk to us and everything like that. And so, I'm just under attack and I'm fighting the devil. Well, the devil's defeated. Okay, but there's still a war going on in this realm. We're going to see it out of the New Testament. But in order for us to thrive in any area of life, we've got to position ourselves and we've got to understand what's going on. So if we can't see, then how are we going to believe? So in whom the God of this world, now notice here it says the God of this world. Okay, Satan couldn't have offered that to Jesus if he didn't have possession of it. Now, Jesus came in on the cross, made an open shame, went to hell, conquered death on the grave, made an open shame of the enemy, but they're still functioning, and they still have the purpose of kill, steal, and destroy. You follow me? Okay. Lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them. Now, the effects of not being able to see is that we think it's just natural happenings. So I take Mom's testimony that, wow, they didn't ever tell me for a year, and then they sent me over to collections. Okay, was it just people doing it? Or was the enemy working behind the scene to kill, steal, and destroy? Go ahead.
It's like the story of Job, how they had like the council and God gave the devil permission to, do what he did to Job, and then Job's friend was accusing him of doing something naturally, not doing what he was supposed to do with God. So it was easy for them to blame the natural aspect when it was more of a spiritual that God gave the devil permission to wreak havoc on Job's life.
Yeah, and but there was a story I just thought in the New Testament that, and it slips from me now. But anytime, you remember when, this was it, when Jesus was talking to Peter, and then he rebuked he bypassed Peter and rebuked Satan. See, most of us, when somebody does something to us, who do we blame? Person that did it, man. I saw it, heard it with my own eyes. I saw it, man. They spit in my face when they were yelling. I know it was them. Okay, but what was behind them? See, let me go to where I'm going. I'll get there still. See, we all think as humans that we're sovereign in our thoughts. We're making decisions. But you and I aren't sovereign. There's two kingdoms up there that are more powerful. The light and kingdom of darkness, kingdom of light, that's more powerful than who we are. You ain't making decisions on your own. Now, there's an element where you do make the decision, but you're influenced. That's where the power of Satan is to kill, steal, and destroy, is to get us, because as I've said many times, part of it is to kill. If Satan could outright kill you, we'd all be dead. He'd just kill us. He has to get us to do things and make decisions that will kill ourselves. Can you guys be honest? How many has done something in your life that was really unhealthy? Okay, now isn't that stupid? I know this is unhealthy. I know I shouldn't do this, and we do it anyway. Do you think your own thoughts made that up? Or do you think there was a little kick in the pants behind, I just really need to do this? Okay, let's go back to Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 1. The word of the Lord came unto me, Ezekiel, saying, Son of man, wait till you guys get there. I still hear pages turning. Y'all there? Yes. All right, Son of man, verse 2. Say unto the prince of Tyrus. Okay, so again, I'm going to ask you a question. Is this a natural man, or like, because we saw the king of Persia, wherever it was we were reading in Daniel, and then we saw the prince of Persia. One was an angel, one was a natural man king. I'm going to ask the same question. Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, Thus saith the Lord God, because your heart is lifted up, and you have said, I am a God, I sit in the seat of God, in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man, and not God, though thou set thine heart as the heart of God. Now is he talking, God talking to Ezekiel about a man or about a demon? No, in the midst of the oceans, in the midst of the seas. Okay, he's talking about a man here. He says, Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. By great wisdom and by traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of the riches. So this is a man who was very successful in his endeavors, was a king, and thought he was all it. Therefore, saith the Lord God, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of God, you think you're God. Behold, therefore, I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations. They shall draw their swords against thee, and beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness. They shall bring thee down to the pit. Thou shalt die the death of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. Wilt thou yet say, slay thee? Wilt thou yet say before them that slay thee, I am God? But thou shalt be a man, and no God in the hand of him that slayeth thee. And thou shalt die the deaths of the uncircumcised by the hand of strangers, for I have spoken it, saith God. Now, verse 11 changes directions. Moreover, or in addition to this, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus. Say unto him, Thus saith the Lord God, Thou sealest up the sum full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Is he talking about to a man or to an angel or a demon? Let's keep reading. Every precious stone was thy covering. The sardius, the topaz, the diamond, the beryl, the onyx.
From a demon.
He's talking about Satan. Okay, so now again, we have the natural kingdom, the seen kingdom. We have Ezekiel, a man of God, being told from an unseen kingdom what to tell him, and then to speak to Satan. Sapphire, the emerald, the cargo, the gold, workmanship of thy tabrets, thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day that thou was created. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, have I set. And he goes on, he talks about that. So again, we see the dealings of what's going on. Why did this man set his heart like that? You know, all the first thing that we said, you think you're God, you set yourself, got riches through your... How did he do that? He was influenced. He was empowered to do it. Okay, are you following me, or am I going too deep? Go ahead. Absolutely. I'll empower you if you'll worship me. Okay? So, yeah, so it's the same thing. In fact, all these things, they're going all the same realm. Is the point that I'm making is there's this seen realm. You and I are living in it. You and I have thoughts. You and I have actions. But there's unseen realms. God will impress me. God impressed upon me. So in prayer, from the unseen realm, God can deal with us. But somehow we forget that Satan's out there in the unseen realm and he can affect us. Because his only ability to succeed, what am I talking about? How to thrive. You have to become aware that you have opposition. If you really love God, do you think it's you that didn't want to go to church? You're getting helped with it.
Because that opposition is in every area of my life. It's not just in one area.
Every area of your life, but the reason it's in every area of our life is because he deals with us in the thought realms, which is every area of our lives. Go ahead.
So when you want to, don't want to, that's being influenced.
Absolutely. Because you want, like if you could get down to the core of you and what you, big picture you, what you really want, you want it to work. Okay, well, that's God. But then you want to, don't want to. How'd you get there? See, it's the time that I was talking about when God really dealt with me about not getting sick. And it was, it's flu season or something like that. And he started dealing with me. The day you feel less good is when you start attacking me. You remember all that story? But then there was a time in a day where my want to didn't want to. And I felt less good that day. And David said, that's this David, not King David. And David said, I really don't care. Because my want to didn't want to. I didn't feel like putting the word of God to work, beating it, and not getting sick. And it was just, God being God just kind of like showed, I don't think it was a vision, but I saw it. Just kind of like in a moment of time, me hunkered over to a toilet throwing up. Said, do you want that? Kind of woke me up. Like, no, I don't want that. All of a sudden, my want to started wanting to. Why did my want to now? Because I wanted that less than I wanted to not do this. You following me? Because at the core, big picture of who we are, we want it to work. But why do we do things that don't work? And we think we got to do it. You really think you're thinking on your own? I mean, are you that schizophrenic or bipolar or, whatever, that you just got no control of your thinker? No, it's because we have opposition that makes us think that doing this stupid, destructive thing is better than not doing it. Come on, you ever been there?
Amen.
How many times have you ever heard somebody, like they're interviewing somebody in jail? I don't know, Andrew. Do you ever hear the prisoners out there talk about, I had something in me, knew I shouldn't do it, but I did it anyway? You've heard that story all the time? Yeah. I've seen it on TV, and the few people that have been in jail, I remember one, I don't remember who it was, but I remember they were getting ready to rob a 7-Eleven, I think it was, and there was like 3 of them, and the guy I was talking to was like, I just knew it was going to go wrong. And but we wanted the money, and we just did that. He went through the story, but to me, the crux of the story was we knew it was going to go wrong. And then we went in. It went wrong. We got arrested, and I did all the, Okay. When you, I'm not real smart, but when you knew it was going to go wrong, why'd you still do it? Come on, married people. Did you know that when you said that, you were going to make matters worse than what they presently were? And you still said it? Come on. Who's ever done that? Okay, look at all the idiots here. We're stupid. What do you think? Do you really think that was just you? Okay, go to Romans 8. Romans 8, verse 14. Amen. For as many as are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God. So God wants us to follow Him. The opposition, now, not just me, not just Pastor Harbaugh, a lot of people are talking about the same thing of thriving. They might use a little different word. But it seems like so many preachers are on the same page that God's doing something, that there's an area that we can walk in that seems to be like in sync. Okay, so if God's doing it, if God has an open door, if He's prepared to make His people thrive, if He's ready to take people into a new realm, do you think He's going to do it by Himself? Or is He going to lead His people?
Lead the people.
He's going to lead His people. Now, do you think the devil's just going to lay down and, I give up? He's leading His people. No, He's going to do what He always does, kill, steal, and destroy. How's He going to do it? How's He going to steal the thriving from you? Get you and me to make decisions that are not in line with that and do stupid things that are out of line with God. That we just think, well, I think this would be best. Well, have you prayed about it? Well, no. I just think this would be best. Okay, Christian. Let's see how that works for you. Now, I made a list here based on this. Everyone is led. Well, this is just a note. Every one of us, there's not a person on the face of the earth, we're yielding to one of 2 voices. There's a kingdom of darkness, there's a kingdom of light. Where either the kingdom of darkness is influencing us or the kingdom of light is influencing us. Let me go back and read my verse here again. For as many did it say every Christian, everybody said Jesus is Lord? For as many, now is Paul writing to the whole world, or is he writing to the church at Rome? Or in Italy? Okay, the Romans. For as many as are led. What if you're not led by the Spirit of God? What if you're led by your emotions? You're not part of this group. For as many that are led by the Spirit of God, they, the ones that are led, are the sons, daughters of God. Okay, so I just made me a little graph here, and I put God and devil, and just wrote down three characteristics of each, based on this verse. God leads, the devil pushes. Have you ever felt like you had to do something, you had to go this way? That's a push. God leads us. God's leading is based on faith. The devil's pushing is based on fear.
That's good.
Anytime you feel pushed, if you'll break it down, it's based in fear. I got to do it today. How does scam artist or what's the other word for people that manipulate people and steal from them? Like, huh?
Con artist.
Like con artists. Yeah, like even if you watch it on TV and show, you got to do it right now. The opportunity is going to be lost. It's a fear-based endeavor to steal. If you don't, they don't go to this church. They don't live in the state. But I got hooked up to talk to somebody who got scammed. And the sheriff's department had called them. It's a scam, so it wasn't really the sheriff's department, but they called Posey Sheriff's Department and told them that they had an arrest warrant out for them unless they went down to Walmart and got some Google Play cards and sent to them. Okay, like stupid. Okay, here's what really makes it stupid. They either had a close friend or a relative, it's been years now, that worked for the sheriff's department. Why didn't they call them? And I asked them this real intelligent question. After they told me they had this real close friend or relative, I don't remember which one it was now. Why didn't you call them? They work for the sheriff's department. They could have told you if it was real or not. I don't know. I was just afraid of getting arrested. I said, you do know the sheriff's department has cars, right? They're not going to make you go buy Google Play cards to get this arrest warrant out of the way. But it was a fear-based, if I didn't do it right now, they stayed on the phone with her as she went out and got in her car and drove to Walmart. I mean, the whole thing just reeked with stupidity. Sin will make you stupid. And fear will make you stupid. So God, by the Spirit, we're led. Now, do you have to follow a leading? No, it's still your choice. It's going to take faith to do it. But fear pushes you. So with God, we're led. With the devil, we're pushed. God's going to use faith. The devil's going to use fear. And what God has us do is going to be about others, and the devil's going to be about self. It's easy to really tell where we're operating. Now, what am I talking about? Thriving. But positioning ourselves, because you have an enemy that doesn't want you to thrive. And he's not going to jump out in front of you in a red suit and a pitchfork and say, I'm the devil, I'm here to steal your thriving. He's going to get you and me to make decisions that make sense to us that will take us the wrong way. And do you know what he bases those decisions on? Wants. He's not going to come to me and try to get me to go follow after the smell of beans. Because it's not going to work. He's going to do something. See, temptation is something you want. How you want it to turn out. So let's go to Ephesians chapter 6. My last verse. We'll end right here. So what I'm trying to do is make everybody aware. I don't care how good of a Christian you are, how Spirit-filled you are, how much of the Bible you know. There's a devil that wants to kill, steal, and destroy in your life.
Amen.
And the only way he can do it, especially if you really are more spiritual, the only way he can do it is to make you think you're walking in the Word. And I can help you with something. He knows the Bible better than you, me, and 3 others put together. He's been doing this a long time. The person that really wants to follow God, he's still going to try to kill, steal, and destroy in their life. All he has to do is get a little bit off so it's no longer God. So in Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10, finally, my brother, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Now remember, this verse right here, or in the context of how this is written, this is a command, not a promise. You and I have to be strong in the Lord. Same thing he told Joshua. Be strong in the Lord. Be courageous. Don't get dismayed. Okay? In fact, he says, in another verse, he says, let the weak say. I mean, you got to start declaring. You got to be strong. In the day and age that we live in right now, you don't. I saw this little video clip of Trump speaking to Schumer. And Schumer was making this big deal, about keeping the government open. And Trump's like, I don't care if you like me, dislike me. He said, if I don't get my way, I'll shut down the government. I don't care. Okay, you know how many Americans could have a confrontational conversation like that? I don't want to hurt their feelings, and I don't want to be uncomfortable in it. And there was another guy, one of the, what's that one guy's name that's just like really matter of fact, that's deporting the illegals? And Homan. You see the guy that has a really strong personality? And they said something, somebody asked him a question about, well, what about the ones that are working and they're nice? If they're illegal, they're illegal. Okay, that's, be strong. See, can you look at what's attacking your bodies and you know, in your lovely family saying, well, you know, you need to be careful about that faith stuff. Yeah, maybe you're right. You don't need to go to church that much. Well, I think I should. No, you don't. Just listen to me. Okay, I'll listen to you. I mean, this is the world we live in right now. Everybody's afraid. I was in a conversation here just, I don't know, a week ago or something like that. I'm kind of direct. You know, and the adult ran to their mommy. Well, you need to not do that. That makes them uncomfortable. Yeah, but they're going to be in a lot of trouble if they don't get it fixed. I can help them with this. No, we live in a too sensitive, you know, oh, don't get me on sensitivity here. I'm not going to give you a blanket, even though I have my Linus blanket I walk around the house with. It's comfy. But it's not an emotional blanket. It's a comfortable blanket. Okay, look at verse 12. Okay, no, we're going to read verse 12 together. Hey, oh no, we don't have that back there. It's too long of a verse. Say it after me. For we wrestle not. Okay, he's going to tell you where you're not fighting. For we wrestle not, against flesh and blood. Let's pause for a minute. Do you know where most Christians fight?
Flesh and blood.
What somebody's saying, what somebody's doing. That's not our battle. See, if you approach this thing on thriving, that well, what am I supposed to do, man? Gas prices are going up. You're fighting against flesh and blood. Man, the eggs are just going crazy. I can't afford to do this. You're fighting against flesh and blood. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. You should not be in the natural fight. Okay? Now he's going to tell us how. But against principalities, against powers, against rulers of darkness, of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So those high places are in this unseen realm. This is where your fight is, and most people are not aware of this fight, so they're fighting on the natural, which has no power. If you're battling money, people will fight it on the natural level of how do I get more money. Battle it in the spirit of what's holding back your money, especially if you're a tither, and even if you're a giver. There's promises tied to your tithes and to your give, so what's holding up the money flow? See, but we battle it more on budget. You need to have a good budget. I decided I'm going to do my financial class. I'm going to do 5 this year. And they'll be about like once every, the first one's going to be in February, and I'm going to deal a lot with just the financial arena. There'll be information come out. But so you need to know how to understand how to operate here. But the battle is not in money coming in, going out. The battle is the spirit behind it. Okay, so well, I know somebody, and man, they just spend more than what they make. Do you think that's a flesh problem and not a spiritual problem? Anybody who knows basic arithmetic, 2 minus 3, that doesn't work. I've learned that there's 3 types of people in the world. There's people who know and understand how to do math. There's people that don't know and don't understand how to do math. What? Nobody got it. funny. You guys don't get it? There's 3 types of people in this world. That's the joke. I'm the guy. If you got to explain it, it's not funny. For we wrestle not. I'm wrestling not. No, I'm wrestling against flesh and blood right now. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of darkness of this world, and against spiritual wickedness. Your hindrance to thrive is not going to be the natural opposition that you face. It's the spirit behind it. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand, stand therefore. So we take on the whole armor of God so that we can stand in the opposition that comes to us. Now, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness. So people do this, I'm going to put on my breastplate of righteousness, and I'm going to get my loins girded. That's not what he's talking about. Okay, number 1, this is going to take faith to do it. All right? Your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. When I was reading through this, making my notes, you know what I thought about in verse 15? Having your feet shod? I was thinking about Andrew Romero. He goes around and just evangelizes. Okay? I don't know. Maybe you're operating on this, but whether he realizes it or not, his feet are shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace, because he's going to share and pray for somebody every day. See, it's a putting into practice. That when I do that, I'm putting on part of the armor of God. I've got to have faith in doing that. Above all, taking the shield of faith. Now, the shield protects you. So when opposition comes, it's not that, I got my shield. No, I'm going to walk in faith and believe that nothing that comes against, no weapon formed against me can prosper. I'm going to put implementation on it and faith in it. Now we're going someplace where we're almost done. Above all, taking the shield of faith wherewith we are able to quench all of the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation. Now, the helmet of salvation is deliverance. I got to protect my head. Romans 12:2, be ye renew your mind, be transformed through the renewing of your mind. I gotta. The way my helmet is going to be on is I'm going to protect my thinker and think like the Word of God. I'm not going to think like the situation I'm going in. I've got to put this on. Now remember, going back up to verse 12, he says, we wrestle not against flesh. When I'm fighting in my head, when I don't want, in fact, Mom's testimony about going to Kermit, didn't want to do it, but no, I got to do it. Feet shod, actually her testimony also of the. I'll just pay it, and so I go, no, I'm going to put my shield of faith on and believe that this thing is done. When the thing comes in the mail, you're paid. I haven't opened you yet, but you're paid. See, when we do it and have faith in these elements, we're wearing the whole armor of God so that we can stand in the day of trouble. Are you following me? Yes. Okay. And the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God. You got to have the Word coming out of your mouth more than other problems. Now here, verse 18 is right after 17. You ever notice that? Praying always. I'm putting on my boots. I'm putting on my shield. There's a song about it. I don't know what no. It's praying always. Now this is where I go back and I say it all. Praying always with all prayers, supplications in the Spirit, watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for the saints. Now, this is where I say all the time. The main direction of our prayer should be that I can stand in the things of God. Because he just went down this list of the armor of God that affects every area of our life that I should be praying always. I'm going to keep my mind, the helmet of salvation. I'm going to keep my mind stayed on the things of God. Isaiah 26:3, thou shalt keep me in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you. I'm going to keep the shield of faith. No, all things are possible to him that believes. I don't care what comes in my life. And putting a guard over it, because you have an adversary that wants to steal your thrive. Amen. You get your eyebrows like that, man, he's... Let's stand. Okay. Did I leave anybody hanging? I went through a lot of stuff here. Anybody hanging? You got any hanging chads in here? Okay. What's my point? This is a year to thrive. Get your prayer life up. Praying always. Praying always. Keep a prayerful attitude. I was driving down the street the other day. It's like, God, I need more of you. I need your help. Help me keep my mind focused. Help me keep standing. Praying always. Praying always. Building yourself up on your most holy faith. Praying always. If it looks like it ain't happening, get the Word of God bigger than the problem. God, you said this. And I don't know what to do here. You said. Because the enemy is going to look for something that he can get us off track, discouraged, frustrated, or whatever we're prone to get, mad, despondent. I don't know, you put whatever your word is in there. The spirit of quit on you, whatever. Start talking about this ain't working. No, it has to work. But you've got to keep yourself built up and focused that you can walk through it. And one of the easiest ways to do that is know that you have an enemy. Pay attention to the little things. It's the small foxes that spoil the fields. He's going to try to find a way to get us talking stupid, to get us thinking stupid, because that's the only realm he has power is in the influence of over who we are. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can, and we start demeaning ourselves. Ross talked about the identity that's been stolen. So many Christians have a stolen identity because they don't think that they have the ability, even though it's not their ability, it's God's ability. That they have the ability to walk this thing out with God, but God says, I'm not going to let my word return to me void. I'm going to keep it straight and make it happen. Now, I can tell you one thing about God. He doesn't do it in our time frame. That seems to always work. He likes to press it. I like what Dr. Robinson says. He's the latest person I know that's always on time. And it kind of seems like that plays out.